Hey guys, so just got back from seeing The Monuments Men. Now, this movie on paper looked like a really freaking good movie. It had a stellar cast that included George Clooney, Matt Damon, John Goodman, John DeJarden, Bill Murray, and Kate Blanchett. All really good actors, really competent actors that I really enjoy and have any time of day for. Um, and also had a few other actors that I'd seen in movies before, but I didn't know their names. And also was being directed by George Clooney, a guy who has made some pretty damn good movies like Michael Clayton and Good Night and Good Luck. He's proven that he can make a really good movie here and there. Um, and this, this movie also had a pretty cool story. I kind of dug the story from the trailers and thought it looked interesting. I was fascinated that this was the kind of a story that no one ever heard of until a few years ago when the book came out. I don't know when the book came out, but if anybody knows, let me know. But until the book came out, I don't think anybody knew about this story until then, from what I was told. But this movie, like I said, the story looked fascinating. You got a competent director, you got a competent cast, and the trailers for this movie I had actually gotten a lot over the last couple months, to the point that I thought this movie was coming out in December or November during Oscar season because this looked like a movie that would be an Oscar contender. But then I found out it was coming out in February, and I'm like, what the hell? Like, really? This movie's being dumped in February? Like, one of the worst months to dump a movie in? Uh, and I was really shocked by that. And it reminded me of, like, a couple years ago when Shutter Island got dumped in February when it was supposed to come out in October. But for some reason got moved to February in one of those really bizarre decisions. And a Martin Scorsese film fucking being dumped in February makes no fucking sense to me. And it was actually a really good movie that could have been an Oscar contender, but got dumped for some reason in February. So I figured this movie maybe would be like one of those kinds of movies. And then I saw the reviews popping up this past week, and they've been mixed to say the least. I think that's an understatement, actually. The reviews haven't been very kind to this film. I was really shocked by that. The fact that this movie is getting badly received and Lego Movie is getting really well received. It was Bizarre World to me. I expected the opposite come this week, but no, I got got this instead. So even though the reviews were not very good, I was kind of keeping out hope, thinking that this can't be that bad of a movie. I mean, you got a great cast, you got a great director, you got a pretty cool story. How could this movie go wrong? Well, I will say this movie is a huge disappointment for me. I didn't hate this movie. I will say that I didn't hate this movie at all. I just thought it wasn't very good, especially considering all the people that were involved. I think this was definitely George Clooney's weakest movie to date that he's directed. I will say the one big positive that I can give this movie is that the acting in this movie is very good. Everybody in this movie is believable as their characters. You can believe that George Clooney would lead a squadron to go find pieces of art and try to salvage them before the Nazis take or burn them or take them for their own needs. Because originally, what the story is that Hitler wanted to take all these paintings from France, from Belgium, all over the place, all the countries that he was taking over, and put them in a museum that he was dedicated to him called the Führer Museum. And that was a museum all for himself and had all these great paintings. But when he was starting to lose the war, he decided if Germany falls, that all the paintings need to be burned and destroyed. And so it's kind of like a race against time. I will say that with this movie is that this movie does get better in the second half. I will definitely say that, because of the kind of fear that, because you start seeing at one point Germans start burning the paintings and stuff like that. And like I said, the second half does get a little bit better than the first half. But I will say again, like I said, the acting in this movie was very good. There wasn't one bad performance, in my opinion. Everybody did a very good job. I can't really complain, like I said, about any of the acting, and that definitely helped elevate the movie from being a really bad movie to a just movie. But where I have problems with this movie is that, one, there is no character development whatsoever. You can't. I couldn't tell you anything about any of these characters other than that either they were an architect or an art school major or something like that. You never really learn much about these characters other than that. And that maybe they're married or have a few kids. That's about it. There's not much character development. And because of that, spoiler alert, there are two characters that do die in this movie. When those characters die, I really didn't give a shit. I didn't. I wasn't invested whatsoever. I think one of the problems is that you have so many actors and characters and stuff like that it's hard to spend so much time with every one of them. And because of that, a lot of characters just are put by the wayside. Like, hell, Matt Damon's like gone from the movie for like a while in there. I think like almost 30 minutes in the movie, of the movie, he's gone. He's in Paris talking with Kate Blanchett and stuff like that. Yeah, like I said, there was like even at one point, what the hell was up with this scene with Bill Murray? They're at the camp and Bill Murray hears that song. I wish you a Merry Christmas. What the hell? Have yourself a merry little Christmas. That's what it was. And at the beginning of the song, there's like some girl talking about her grandpa or something, and it hints that maybe Bill Murray, that it's Bill Murray's grandkids or something like that. It's never really fucking mentioned ever again. You have no idea what the fuck that scene was about. And Bill Murray's getting emotional, and you're supposed to get emotional. I had no idea what the fuck was going on, so why the hell do I care? It's like, what the fuck was that scene about? There's a lot of scenes like that in this movie. That's the other problem I had with this movie, is the editing. There's two problems with the editing in this movie. Either, one, there was key scenes that seemed to be really missing from this film, or two, there were just pointless fucking scenes that were kept in there for no fucking reason and had no purpose whatsoever. Good examples. Good examples of scenes where it seemed like, or parts where it seemed like scenes were missing. One good example I can name off the top of my head is, what was up with that? There's this part in the movie where Kate Blanchett's, she works at an art museum in Paris that's overrun by the Nazis. And she, at one point, the Nazis take all the paintings, and for some reason, after the Nazis take the paintings and she sees them take off of these paintings on trains, for some reason, the next scene you see her, she's in a jail cell where Matt Damon meets her, and it's revealed that for some reason, the French think that she's a spy, and the French think that she's a spy and that she took the paintings. It felt like, I was like, what? How the fuck did they come up to that kind of conclusion? Or did I miss something? Like, it felt like something was missing, like a key scene was missing that would explain why they came up with that conclusion. There's a lot of scenes like that in this movie where it just seems like shit was just left out. Like, they just cut out for some apparent reason. Also, the fucking movie like jumps so much like around like through the time period, like you can't tell what part of the war you're in while you're watching it. Like you can't tell where this is the beginning or the middle or the end because like it just like keeps jumping around so much. Like towards the end, I didn't even realize the fucking war was over. Actually, you're not even supposed to know the fucking war is over because the only reason you find out the war is over is because they just walk up to some random troop who just says Germany surrendered. Woohoo! This is we should start the parade or whatever, and you're like, oh, the war's over? Okay, didn't know that. Woohoo! It just jumps around the time period so much. Like literally, their training to go into the army only takes up a fucking minute. That's it. There's no only like a minute, and that's it. You see 1 minute of training, and then they're into the war zone. You're like, wow, that skipped a big time. That's how much time period it skips, like so much. A good example. Also, what? Like I said, there were scenes that just were there for no fucking reason and seemed fucking pointless, and that could have been cut out very easily if you had a competent editor. Good example was, what the fuck was up with that scene with Bill Murray and that one guy, that one small guy that, you know, he and the small guy and Bill Murray had like a lot of like cute little dialogue together with each other. And what was up with that fucking scene where the one little guy walks out into the woods and sees a German holding a gun at him, and Bill Murray ends up coming out, and because the guy don't speak English, they decide to sit down for some reason, and they start to share a cigarette all of a sudden with each other, and they start talking about John Wayne, and that's it. What the fuck was the point of that scene? I have no idea. It was there. It was just fucking there for no apparent fucking reason. I did not get. I was like, what was the point of that scene? I was like sitting there like, what? There's many scenes. I mean, I don't want to go through them all, but there's many scenes like that. That's a good example there. Maybe somebody can explain to me why the fuck that was there. If you could, be your guest. Be my guest. You can do that. Yeah, this movie, I will say, I've heard a lot of people bitch about the tone in this movie, and yeah, it seems the tone is a little bit all over the fucking place. I didn't have much of a problem with the tone in this movie as much as the fucking editing in this movie, because it was noticeable that there was a lot of shit cut out. You can tell that there was a lot of shit cut out that shouldn't have been cut out, and there was a lot of shit that wasn't cut out that should have been cut out. Yeah, I mean, this was a huge disappointment. It was. I really wanted this movie to. I would say it's not like the worst thing I've ever seen. It's just, you know, it was a huge disappointment. Because of the acting, I kind of, you know, can't like not like absolutely not recommend it. And the story, it was pretty good too. I would probably say it's best for a rental. That's about it. I wouldn't pay to go see it in the theater. The theater I was in, it was a pretty packed house. It was close to packed. It was pretty busy today. A lot of kids going to see the Lego Movie, but a lot of older adults were going to see this movie, and it was a pretty packed house with this movie. It was like at noon, which was kind of surprising on a Saturday. But yeah, I wouldn't, like I said, I wouldn't say not go see it at all. I'd probably just say wait till it comes on Redbox or something like that. That's about it. It's not that, because, like I said, it's not as horrible. Not that horrible of a movie, because I've seen a lot worse, but it's not that great either, especially with all the people that are involved. I I did get I forget what the one. I got a couple trailers and I forgot what one of them was. I should tell you how memorable it was. I remember it actually being pretty good, but I can't fucking remember what it was now. But the one I do remember was I got the trailer for what the 100 How to Die in the West. That new I might be saying that wrong. 100 Ways to Die in the West or something like that. With the new film by Seth MacFarlane, starring Seth MacFarlane and Charlize Theron. That looked really fucking funny. I laughed at that trailer. That actually looked. It was a great parody of like Wild West, and it looked really funny. It had Seth MacFarlane's brand of humor. I'm not a big fan of Family Guy, not that much at all. But I fucking love Ted. I love Ted. So yeah, after seeing Ted, I want to see what Seth MacFarlane can do after that movie. This movie looks like it'll be a lot of fun. I want to see it. It looks pretty good. I think it's coming out this summer, so that's something to look forward to this summer. But other than that, you got almost all new. There's all the same trailers that I've gotten before. But yeah. I guess that's it for today. I'll be back next week with fucking the remake of RoboCop. Oh God, hopefully this isn't that bad. I hope it's not bad. It's getting a split reaction right now, I think. So who knows what the hell how this movie's gonna end up? But hopefully it's not that bad. So I'll be back next week with RoboCop remake, and I'll talk to you guys later.